In this video we're going to have a look at this front cover for a 300 TDI. It causes a lot of confusion because it's got the oil pump in and we're going to assemble an oil pump. But what I wanted to tell you, on this particular cover I had this first machined so it was square to here. It was a couple of thousandths of an inch off, which made the belts run off, the timing belts run forward. Now this has been, like I say, it's been blasted, it's been cleaned, it's been power washed, all the holes are nice and clean, so we're ready to assemble this. But what I was going to say was just under here you can see it says Holborn because it's an oil pump, and this is a cause of a lot of confusion. And I can see why a lot of people have problems with these oil pumps in 300 TDIs, because the instructions are rubbish. Let's look at, first of all, this bit. See here? See the measurements? Well, they've got the clearance for the rotor, like this piece. It's supposed to be, you know, it says 0.025 millimeters to 0.075 millimeters. That's quite small, but when you look at it in inches, it's 10,000th of an inch to 30,000th of an inch. That's quite large. So just let's put this into perspective. I've got my caliper here and I've set it on 0.02 because I can't get anything any smaller. I can't get like 0.0225. It won't go past that. But I'm going to press the button. Where is it now? And convert it into inches. And that's what it is. 0.0005. You can't even see the damn gap. It's incredibly small. In fact, if we look at a piece of paper, let's do this. I'm just ad-libbing this. Let's push it together. We'll zero the gauge, and we'll do it in millimeters. And the piece of paper, wait a minute, it's gone to fractions. Is 1/10 of a millimeter. So they're wanting even less than that. Very confusing. And there's an even more confusing piece as well in this piece of paper. It says, not on that piece, it says here that the length of the spring should be 68 millimeters. I just took this spring out. It is actually 45 millimeters. 68 millimeters. That's 68 millimeters. There's no way on earth has that spring compressed that much. No way at all. So something in here is vastly out. It's vastly out. No wonder people are getting confused. I took this off internet. You know that online you can get those the proper Land Rover Workshop manual. I just printed bits and pieces out. But you can get the proper workshop manual for the 300 TDI, and this was in it. Weird. Rubbish, eh? I know for a fact that this cover hasn't done that many miles. It was just had the belt over tightened. Let's have a look. Let's move the camera down and let's assemble this pump, because the clearances they're asking for are bizarre, bonkers. So all parts have been washed, cleaned, blown, inspected. All the threads have been inspected. It's going to be a good one. It's not stripped out of here. There actually is a helicoil in here where the timing tension goes. I'm not putting oil seals in this yet because I ain't got none. So I just want to get it wrapped up so I can put it in a bag and get it away. So you can probably see here, this is our place where our oil pump goes. Now I have bead blasted these rings and just to have a look and see if there was any scores or anything like that on it. And believe me, these are perfect. They're beautiful. Have a look. You see, there's not a mark or a scratch on there. Now I have, when I blasted these, I put a cable tie, tie wrap between the two. So I did, when I took these out, I tie wrapped them, and then I knew that this ring is the right way around, if you see what I mean, because you could actually flip it that way around. But you know something? Looking at the teeth and things like this inside, it's almost like new. There's not a mark on those, so I know that this hasn't done many miles. So first of all, we're going to assemble the ring, and that's got a bit of clearance, but I'm just going to measure it in thousandths of an inch. What have we got here? There's 10,000ths of an inch, and I can just to say get 10,000ths of an inch in there. That seems to be right, which would be, if you can see there, 0.254, not 0.0254. I think they've put the point in the wrong place. So anyway, that's okay in there. What's the rotor like? Put the rotor in. That is nice. So we're going to measure the gap between the tips here, and again, I am not messing about with metric at the moment. That there is 0.025. Let's see if we've got any. These are very old. This set of gauges here, they're all sort of knackered. That's 0.09. It won't go through. They're asking for 10 thou. Well, look, I can't even get a 9 in there. So I think we're well into specifications there. I'm going to leave it like that. Fortune favours the bold. I'm just going to leave it like that. That feels lovely. And after a bit of experience messing about with pumps and things like this, you sort of get to know that, if they had super fine clearances, well, could even seize up. You have to have some space for oil to get round. Now, how does it work? Well, I was hoping you weren't going to ask that, but you are. Oil comes up from the oil pan, it's sucked up here, enters this cavity here, and as the engine's going round, this oil gets compressed from a little space, so it'll get compressed and pushed into this cavity, if you see what I mean. See that piece of aluminium there stops that oil coming round, so it comes around here and it goes to the bottom also of the relief valve. Take note. So when we put this in, and our rotor, oh, it won't go in now. There we go. Which way does it go around? Yeah, like that one. What it's doing is it's compressing that oil and pushing it into this compartment here, which goes up here and feeds your engine. Now, this is the clever thing about this relief valve, which a lot of people get stuck with. The relief valve fits in here, so we'll do it externally, like that, see? That's how it fits. So you've got your plug in there, and that spring will compress because there's a stop just here. If the oil pressure is too much, this will push down onto the pressure of this spring and release the oil back into the bottom so it goes round again. Okay, so it just keeps going round and round again. Very, very simple. Now, how they managed to get a 68mm spring in there, I do not know. But I don't know. Let's go back to this pump. The pump, as it is now, is very, very good. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to lubricate it with Vaseline. This is an old one. There, look, Vaseline. Why don't we put oil on it or grease? I don't know. I always use Vaseline in pumps. I think it's because it doesn't dry out. And oil, if you put oil in and you put this part on the shelf for a long time, well, the oil can actually either evaporate or drop out, and then you won't get a prime on your pump. And this is one of the most important things. With pumps, sometimes you've got to prime them. You've got to get some lubrication before you turn your engine on, you know, with a key. It's always wise to turn it over by hand to get the oil sucked up into the pump. Now, if you haven't got any grease or oil or anything on this particular part of the pump, it can't cause a vacuum, so therefore it can't prime. And I know quite a few people have wrote to me saying, what's going wrong, why can't, you know, I've rebuilt my engine or I've pulled something apart and now it won't work, I can't get any oil pressure. Well, usually it's because you've lost your prime. So let's fit this in here. See, that fits lovely. I'll put some grease around there. Hit that bit. There. That's it. So that's nicely primed up. Put a bit more in for look. Now, it doesn't matter if Vaseline gets pushed into your oil passages, because the oil will gradually dilute it. Alright, so we put plenty in there. I am happy with that. And you can probably see, as I turn that pump, that this gets compressed, if you see what I mean. So it gets compressed to a point, it goes to a very small place here. Yeah, it's so difficult to explain properly. But anyway, you're sucking up oil here, it gets transferred up to here and transferred up to here. Very, very simple. Now, talking about very, very simple, I've just got some Vaseline in that hole. Make sure all these holes are free. They're saying here on this piece of instruction from the manual, fit the oil pump rotors in the front cover, apply a bead of RTV sealant around the retaining ring. Well, this is the retainer, and as you can see, the condition of it is absolutely beautiful. There's just a few stains on it from cleaning, but it looks really, really nice. But I've taken loads of these off, and I have never ever seen RTV on this face. I don't know why, but I'm not going to fit any. So I'm going to put this pump on like that cover. Now also there's supposed to be a space between here. I already pre-measured this without any Vaseline in, and it was pretty damn good. So I'm really happy with that oil pump. So the next thing I'm going to do is going to grab my little impact and I'm going to fasten the cover down. Now again, in here, these are the actual instructions. You can go online and read them yourself. It doesn't say a torque for fastening these screws down. There is nothing on it at all. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the impact and just tap them down a bit. And I'm going to put some thread guard on all these screws, just a little bit, to hold them down. Because like I say, I've already washed these out with parts cleaner, you know, like not parts cleaner, brake cleaner. Put some there. I've still got all the screws there. That's not too bad after a year. Usually get missing or get robbed. Now you can buy a new kit for these. You know, you can buy an oil pump repair kit, but quite frankly, I've never had need to. All the pumps I've stripped down, they've all been fine. Never had a problem with oil pressure. But there again, this is properly primed. Like Amazon Prime. One more to go. In fact, we'll pick up that drop off the bench there. Now, put the top on so we don't lose that, so we don't get any dirt in there, and then we'll spin these down. Now we'll spin them down just a little bit, spin them down evenly. And now we're just going to give them a little knock with a gun. And that will do that. And we'll now check if that's nice and free. Oh, it's so full of guns it won't turn. Wait a minute, I'll have to find something to turn that pump. I've got a bit too much Vaseline in it. So back again, I found a pair of adjustable spanners that's got two little flats on here, and I couldn't get my fingers in, and that turns absolutely lovely. Where are we now? Oh, wait a minute, we're over here. Come here. Damn thing. There's a pump. There you see. I don't want to turn it too much because I don't want to lose the pride. I'm sort of a bit of a problem with this camera today. For the relief valve, I'm just going to put it back in with some Vaseline. Now, you'll probably know which way around does it go. Well, it's quite easy because the spring goes onto there, and that's it. That's all you need. So I'm going to see if I can get some Vaseline into that guide inside and pop that in. There we are. Now, and this other set end of the spring locates on this boss here. And that is still quite a tight fit in there. And another cause of confusion. How tight do you tighten this up? Who knows? Again. Insert valve plunger and spring into sleeve in front cover and secure with retaining plug. Fill engine oil sump. That's it. That's all. That's the only stuff they give you. Let me try and find a big screwdriver. We'll tighten that down. There is no sealing washer or anything on there. There's nothing at all. So what I'm going to do is just get a little blunt chisel and I'm going to tighten that up with a chisel. As you see, it didn't move all that much. That's all it's going to get. That's all it's going to get. That's nice and tight. And that's it. That's how I do them. I've been doing them for a long time like that. It's always worked. And I've had engines, I've had 300 TDI engines stood for about a year, and they've still got the oil pressure. So if you assemble it like that, I don't think you're going to have really a lot of problems. I can't see it. But again, I've got to do some homework on that spring. Why they're saying 68 millimeters? And that was from a 300 TDI. I don't know. So that's why you guys are getting confused. I wouldn't trust it. Pardon me, I wouldn't trust those instructions. So now I'm going to bag it and tag it, put it on the shelf, keep it clean, and we'll use it on a job in the near future. It's just nice to have stuff ready to go when you're building engines. Alright, glad you liked that. Well, I hope you liked that. I hope it was interesting. But like I say, I know where you're coming from when you get problems now. Alright, we'll see you in the next video.